They always say that love makes a family, and I believe that with every ounce of my soul. My name is Helen, and I'm 59 years old. My husband Mark is 62, and for 25 years, we raised a son who didn't share our blood, but held every piece of our heart. His name is Daniel. We adopted him when he was just shy of 2 years old. A quiet little boy with the saddest eyes I'd ever seen. I still remember the first time I held him, how he clung to my sweater like he'd been waiting his whole life for someone to say, "You're safe now." Our journey to Daniel wasn't easy. I couldn't conceive. We tried for years. Tests, hormones, heartbreak, until eventually, we let go. And just when we stopped hoping, life placed him in our path. Daniel's biological parents had fallen deep into addiction. They were barely surviving, bouncing in and out of rehab, living in a small, unstable apartment. When we got the call about a child needing a home, we didn't hesitate. It wasn't just about rescuing him. It was about becoming whole. The adoption process dragged for months. Court hearings, caseworkers, papers. But we pushed through, never wavering. We were told it would be a closed adoption, that his biological parents had chosen to step away entirely. Still, they left behind one envelope, a single photograph, and a letter. We kept it, locked it away in a drawer. For him. For someday. And then, we became a family. Not overnight. Love like that takes time. But we sang him lullabies. Held him during thunderstorms. Stayed up with him when he had night terrors. Mark built him a race car bed from scratch when he was 4. I stitched his Halloween costumes every year until high school. We weren't rich, but Daniel never went without. Soccer games. School projects. First crushes. First heartbreaks. We were there. Always. When Daniel got into a top-tier university, we cried. We cashed out a small retirement fund to pay what scholarships couldn't. We didn't care. He was our pride. Our miracle. Our son. But then, something changed. He was 16 when he asked about his roots. We gave him the letter and the photo, the only pieces of a past he never knew. We told him we supported whatever decision he made. And we meant it. He read the letter. He looked at the photo. He said he was okay. And for a while, we believed him. But looking back now, I wonder, was that the moment he began pulling away? For years, everything felt steady, warm, whole. Daniel graduated college. Found a good job. Met a wonderful young woman named Lily. She was bright, thoughtful, the kind of person who walks into a room and makes everyone feel welcome. We adored her immediately. I used to tell Mark that Lily was the daughter I never had. And when they got engaged, I wept tears of joy. Not just for Daniel, for all of us. The life we'd built was expanding. Our family was growing. There were going to be holidays, grandchildren, memories waiting to be made. I never imagined how quickly it would all fall apart. 6 months before the wedding, Daniel told us he'd found them. His biological parents. We were surprised, of course, but not angry. How could we be? Everyone deserves to know where they come from. We sat him down, told him to be cautious, told him we supported him, told him we'd always be here. What we didn't say out loud, what we couldn't admit, even to ourselves, was the sudden, sharp fear blooming in our chests. And then, like a storm cloud, they came into his life. Fast, loud, consuming. At first, it was small things. Canceled dinners. Ignored texts. Daniel missing our 4th of July fishing trip, a tradition we'd upheld since he was 9, because he had plans with his other family. I tried to smile. I told myself it was just a phase. Curiosity. Maybe even guilt. But then the story started. Mom, you wouldn't believe how much they've changed. Dad, they're really trying. They've been through so much. He spoke of them like they were heroes. Survivors. Saints who'd somehow been wronged by the world. But the truth? They were still struggling. A cousin of mine looked into it. Found police reports, evictions, rehab stints, public arguments with neighbors. But Daniel didn't see that. He saw a dream. A fantasy of the family he could have had. And we were just the ones who got in the way. Then came the wedding planning. We offered to pay the whole thing. Venue, catering, photographer. Even knowing it would stretch us thin. We wanted to give him the day he deserved. The day they never could. He thanked us. Lily hugged me. I remember thinking, this is what love looks like. 2 months later, he sat us down. No, he informed us. His biological father would walk him down the aisle. His biological mother would share the mother-son dance. They would give speeches. Be honored. Be seen. And us? We were welcome to attend. As guests. No speeches. No dances. No acknowledgement. Just faces in a crowd. Strangers at the wedding of the boy we raised. I remember sitting in that chair, Mark's hand clenched around mine, and feeling like the walls had collapsed inward. When we tried to talk to Daniel to ask, why? He said we were trying to erase his history. History? I whispered. We're your parents. He stared at me. And then he said the words that shattered my world. They're my real parents. After that conversation, I didn't sleep for days. We didn't argue. We didn't beg. We simply nodded, smiled, died a little inside. Mark and I talked late into the night about what we meant to him, about whether we should just stay quiet, write the check, sit in the back like obedient ghosts. But something inside me had shifted. This wasn't about a dance or a speech or a seat at the altar. This was about respect, about decades of love being erased in a single sentence. So we made a choice. We called Daniel and told him we would no longer be funding the wedding. Not out of spite, not to punish him, but because he'd made it clear we weren't family anymore. His real parents, as he called them, would host the day. Let them carry the weight. He didn't yell. He didn't argue. He just said, that's probably for the best. They've offered to pay anyway. The silence after that call felt like a funeral. We told ourselves we'd let go, that the boy we raised was still there, somewhere, and that maybe, just maybe, he'd come around. And then, the doorbell rang. It was 11 p.m., the night before the wedding. I raced to the door, heart pounding, secretly hoping maybe he changed his mind. But it wasn't Daniel. It was Lily. Her makeup was smudged. She was shaking, crying so hard she could barely speak. I pulled her inside. Mark brought her water. And slowly, between sobs, the truth poured out. Daniel had lied to her. He told her we refused to be part of the wedding because we couldn't handle his biological parents being there. He told her we were cruel, bitter, that we tried to sabotage the whole thing by withdrawing the money out of spite. He twisted everything. But it was more than that. His biological parents, the ones he insisted had changed, had done nothing. The venue wasn't paid for. Vendors were pulling out. The planner was threatening to cancel. It was a disaster. And when Lily asked Daniel what was going on, he didn't own any of it. He blamed us. He told her we ruined the wedding, that we'd abandoned him. Lily couldn't understand. She'd spent holidays with us. She knew how much we loved him. She'd seen the photo albums, the bedtime stories, the broken bones and late-night fevers we carried him through. And she couldn't believe what he was saying. Then came the final blow. She told us that his biological mother had been asking her for money, manipulating her, guilt-tripping her. And when Lily brought it up to Daniel, he dismissed it. It'll bring you closer to her, he said. That was the moment she realized the man she loved was gone. Or maybe he'd never really been there. And so she came to us, not as his fiancée, but as a heartbroken girl searching for truth. That night, she made a decision. She was canceling the wedding. The next morning, the wedding was off. There were no flowers, no music, no guests taking their seats. Just silence. And somewhere in the city, my son, the boy I had rocked to sleep, taught how to tie his shoes, stood beside at every milestone, was sitting in a crumbling apartment with two people who had done nothing to earn his loyalty but share his blood. We didn't hear from him for weeks, but we heard about him. A family friend saw him drinking alone at a bar several nights in a row. Another said he'd missed work, lashed out at colleagues, and looked hollow. He stopped answering our calls. Even Lily's messages went unread. The people he had chosen over us? Gone. Disappeared the moment the wedding collapsed. Vanished like they always had. And he was left holding the ruins. I tried not to cry. I tried to stay angry for my own protection. But truthfully, I was just scared. Scared that we'd lost him. Scared that he'd spiral. Scared that all those years of love were nothing but paper in a storm. Then, one night, nearly 2 weeks after the wedding, the phone rang. It was Daniel, sobbing. He called Mark first. Said he was sorry. Said he didn't know why he did any of it. That he thought he was finally filling the hole inside him, but instead he had dug it deeper. He told us he'd cut off contact with his biological parents. Said he saw them for who they really were, manipulators who used his guilt like currency. He even confronted his birth mother, demanding she return the money she took from Lily. She did, probably because he threatened legal action. But I think it was also because, for the first time, he was no longer under their spell. Daniel asked for help, asked for therapy, asked for time, asked if we could ever forgive him. And do you know what I said? I said, "You're our son." That hasn't changed. But trust isn't given back, it's earned. And he understood. As for Lily, She needed time, too. She's not coming back, not yet. Maybe not ever. But we stay in touch. We still see her as family, even if that chapter never reopens. She's a remarkable young woman who chose truth over comfort, and I will always admire her for that. As for us, Mark is back in the garage building birdhouses again. I've taken up gardening. Pulling weeds helps quiet my mind. We've started therapy together. And slowly, we're stitching ourselves back into the people we used to be before all of this. I don't know what the future holds for Daniel. He still has a long way to go. But when he said, "Mom, I see it now. What you and Dad gave me, no one ever will," I finally let myself cry. Not out of grief, but out of hope. So to every parent who gave their heart to a child who wasn't born from their body, but from their soul, I see you. Love is not always enough to keep someone from wandering, but it's strong enough to guide them home. And if they do come back, broken, bleeding, and afraid, you can choose whether to open that door. Just make sure they understand. Love is not unconditional when it comes to respect. We raised a good man once. Now, we'll see if he can find that boy again.